that for you. It's just-
I'd like to welcome everybody to the August 12th, 2021 zoning board meeting. Shelley, would you poll the board, please?
Member Anderson,
Sure.
Member Geisel,
Here.
Deputy Chair Herman,
Here,
Chair Hetrick.
Here.
Absent this evening is Member True.
Next on it, could I get an approval of the minutes from July 8th?
I'll second.
I so move to approve the minutes of July 8th as submitted.
I'll second.
Member Anderson,
Aye.
Member Geisel,
Abstain?
Deputy Chair Herman,
Aye.
Chair Hetrick.
Aye. The next on the agenda is Mr. Jagowski here?
He is not.
Okay, with that, I'd like to close the public hearing for application 2020-12Z. And with that,
Get a second on that motion.
need a second,
I'll take a second.
poll the board.
Member Anderson,
Aye.
Member Geisel,
Aye.
Deputy Chair Herman,
Aye.
Chair Hetrick.
Aye.
Yep, so, okay, so I'd like to make a resolution, August 12th, 2021. Michael and Julie Kajowski motion, whereas the application 2020-12Z was submitted by Michael and Julie Kajowski, the applicants of 198 5 Points Road, Rush, New York, 14543, requesting an area dimension lot width variance of 32 feet with, from a minimum lot width requirement of 150 feet, as set forth in the town zoning law, section 120-17, as described in the maps and diagrams submitted with the application. And whereas the property is located in the R30 district as set forth in the zoning law of the town of Rush. And whereas a public hearing on this application was first scheduled on March 11th, 2021, which was then tabled and continued during the April 7th, 2021 meeting, the May 13th, 2021 meeting, the June 10th, 2021 meeting, the July 8th, 2021 meeting, and the final, this meeting, August 12th, 2021 meeting of the zoning board, and notice was posted as required by law. And whereas all persons at the hearing desiring to speak on the matter were heard, all correspondence was read, and those statements were considered by this board. And now therefore be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals determines that application 2020-12Z is a type 2 action exempt from the seeker review pursuant to section 617.5 subsection C, section 16 of Title 6 of the New York Code of Rules and Regulations, which granting of minimum lot dimensions. And as further resolved that pursuant to the criteria set forth under section 267-B of the town law and section 120-17 of zoning law, the zoning board determines that the applicants are not entitled to a variance based on the following. One, the lot dimensions of 118 feet is consistent with the neighborhood. However, by granting a variance to facilitate the subdividing of this lot, it will create a vacant lot that will have an accessory building / barn without a principal structure. This is not permitted under the town zoning law in an R30 zoning district because an accessory use must be clearly incidental and secondary to the use of the dwelling for residential purposes. This would create an undesirable change in to the character of the neighborhood and would involve a significant departure from the development trend in the vicinity and the town, which do not involve standalone accessory uses. Number two, the benefits sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by some other method feasible for the applicant to pursue because of the configuration dimensions of the original property parcel and location of the existing residence in order to ensure that the lot surrounding that resident meets the code minimum requirements. Item three, the requested area variance for a lot minimum width standing alone is not substantial because the proposed subdivided lot width.
Is it working?
No.
resulting in a deviation of 21% from the zoning law. However, the granting of this variance is substantial in the context of future development of the
Put your
lot.
other ear pod in.
Board expects granting of a variance in this case will create need for several other future area variances based on the information before the zoning board. Should the applicants move forward with the building of the residence on the new subdivided lot, the applicants have not provided satisfactory surveys drawn to scale depicting the potential feasibility of the location of a future house on the subdivided lot. Item 4, the requested minimum lot width variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district, such as drainage, as there is an existing drainage easement that crosses the property and creates many potential issues for the building of a new residence, driveway, location, access to the existing accessory building, and a location of a future leach field for a standard septic system. The zoning board requested in several instances that the applicant demonstrate that a suitable septic system could be located on the new subdivided lot in accordance with applicable regulatory requirements, but the applicant has not provided any satisfactory proof that this. Item 5, the minimum lot width variance was self-created as the applicant is requesting an area variance so that they can subdivide the current lot and host the current house lot and building a new residence on the new subdivided property. In consideration of the other 4 factors, the benefit to the applicant in the granting of the variance does not outweigh the possible detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood. And it is further resolved that taking into consideration the 5 factors, the zoning board finds that the benefit to the applicant does health, safety, and welfare of the community. And it is further resolved that application 2020-12Z is denied.
I'll second it.
Member Anderson,
Yes.
Member Geisel.
Aye.
Deputy Chair Herman,
Aye.
Chair Hetrick.
Aye. Next, we move on to public hearing for the Moore Farm LLC.
It's on.
But no, it's 2020. Yep. Last year.
Could you read the public notice for Moore Family Farms LLC, please?
Can't hear.
Notice is hereby given that pursuant to the provisions of the zoning section 267 town law. By the zoning board of appeals, at the town of Rush Hall, 5977
Now
East
it's
10
working.
Rush, New York via Zoom on August 12, 2021 at 7 p.m. with respect to the following application and any other business that may come before the board. Application 2021-10Z by Moore Family Farms LLC requesting a variance for a front setback. Proposed project will be 89.4 feet from the front center line. And the Rush Town Code, section 20-18, isn't it section 120?
Section 120.
All right, section 120-18A, minimum front setbacks are required to be 110 feet.
Is Jim here tonight? Misso?
Yes.
Is Jim? Oh, there he is. How we doing tonight, sir?
Having a little audio thing here, but yes, I'm Jim Missel representing Moore Family Farms.
Right.
And we're asking the board tonight for a area variance for our front setback on our existing structure. As you know, we were before the planning board last month, and they recommended that we come to the zoning board for the area variance to bring the subdivision that we're proposing into compliance.
Did everybody see a map?
Yes.
Okay. I have correspondence here from the Rush Fire District, from Mr. Sweet, the applicant Moore, Family Farm LLC, 786 Rush Scottsville Road. The purpose land subdivide is separate. After review of the above application, the Board of the Fire Commissioner has no issues or concerns with the application as written. I have correspondence from the Rush Conservation Board, and they say they reviewed the above named application and do not find any aspect of the project to be significant impact to the environment. Have Monroe County Planning. And theirs is the standard, letting us know that it's in an agricultural district. Development of this property should be designed, yeah, they want to make sure that with the existing drainage facilities, but they're not readjusting anything.
Correct.
They're just they're just dividing the property out. The project wasn't sent to Monroe County Transportation because it's on a state road. Yeah, they just want to make sure that there's jurisdictions there. But New York State, the project was not sent to New York State Transportation for review because they're not changing anything or adding anything. So that was all pretty standard. Do you have anything to add, Jim?
No, I don't. The structure, yeah, the structure's been pre-existing, non-conforming for 75 to 100 years, so we're trying to bring it into compliance.
Anybody have any questions?
Not I.
I have two very simple questions that I think I know the answer to, Jim. Number one, lot number 2, which has the house lot, you're just, that's being subdivided for purposes of a sale, is that correct?
That's correct, John.
Lot number 1, no present intent to develop that in any manner, right? That's just gonna stay vacant?
That's correct. That's going to stay vacant and just primarily be used to maintain that drainage issue there.
Okay, I have no other questions.
Any questions? With that, then I'll have a resolution.
Just need to close.
Oh. There's no more. I'll close the public hearing.
Well, is there anyone from the public who wishes to make a comment on the application?
Well, since there's no public comment, I make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second that.
Member Anderson,
Aye.
member Geisel,
Aye.
deputy chair Herman,
Aye.
chair Hetrick.
Aye. So now that it's closed, I'll make a resolution on a motion here. Whereas the zoning board of appeals of the town of Rush has examined application 2021-10Z submitted by the Moore Family Farm LLC, the applicant, of 786. Shelley, when you read the public notice, was that address right?
Or
More the address is 786. I thought I heard you say 789. Was that right? Or no?
I didn't say an address. I don't think.
It should be 786.
It's 786.
Okay, all right.
And
Yep, okay. 786 Rush Scottsville Road, Rush, New York, 14543, the property, which is located in an R30 district, requesting a front setback variance, excuse me, from a front setback requirements for structures on a state or county road of at least 110 feet as set forth in 120-18 of the zoning law of the town of Rush, the zoning law, for an existing two-story residence that is currently 89.4 feet from the center line. And whereas the zoning board of appeals has examined the application, maps, and other materials submitted with the application, and whereas a public hearing on this application was held on August 12th, 2021, and notice was posted as required by law. And whereas all persons at the hearing desiring to speak on the matter were heard, all correspondence was read, and those statements were considered by the board. Now therefore, be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals determines that this is a type 2 action exempting from seeker review pursuant to 617.5, section C, 16 of the Title 6 New York Code of Rules and Regulations, which include the granting of individual setbacks and lot line variance and adjustments. And it is further resolved that pursuant to the current set forth under 267-B of the town law and 20-18 of the town zoning law, the zoning board of appeals determines that the application is entitled to a variance based on the following. There will be no undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood. No construction is proposed by the application as part of the application. The house is pre-existing and was built in the early 1900s. Consistent with other pre-existing buildings on the road, an existing home at Lot 2 will remain and be sold, while Lot 1 will be retained by the applicant. The benefit sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by some other method feasible for the applicant to pursue. The house is pre-existing non-conforming with respect to the front setback, and in order to subdivide the property, a variance is necessary to allow the house to stay in its present location. The requested area variance is not substantial. The front setback of 110 feet from the center line of the road result in a 19% deviation. The variance would therefore result in a very minor deviation from the requirements of the zoning law. Number 4, the requested front setback variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district. No construction is proposed by the applicant as part of the application. The variance will not result in any impact on environmental conditions such as drainage, traffic circulation, noise, or other impacts. Number 5, the requested front setback variance for the house was, what is it? Arguably not self-created, because the house was built in the early 1900s prior to the adoption of the current setback requirements contained in 120-18 of the Rush zoning law, which was not within the applicant's control. In consideration of the other 4 factors, the benefit to the applicant in granting the variance outweighs the possible detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood. And it is further resolved that taking in consideration the 5 factors, the zoning board of appeals finds that the benefit to the applicant outweighs the detriment to the neighborhood or community, and the variance request in the application would be granted in order to preserve and protect the character of the neighborhood and the health, safety, and welfare of the community. It is further resolved the application 2021-10Z is granted as submitted, subject to the following conditions. Approval of the Town of Rush Planning Board for the Moore Family Farm subdivision.
Second.
Member Anderson,
Aye.
member Geisel,
Aye.
Deputy Chair Herman,
Aye.
Chair Hetrick.
Aye. Next up is.
Thank you very much.
No,
Thank you, Jim.
Jim, have a good night.
Yes.
I was gonna ask you, when they sent that down from the planning board, does he have to go back or can he take it to the chair and have him sign off on it?
You'll be back in front of them Tuesday night.
Tuesday
Yeah.
night. Okay,
Yeah, we'll be back Tuesday night.
okay,
For final.
Yep.
subdivision.
okay. Thank you, Jim. Have a good night.
Thank you very much.
Next is Rochester Brooks. Mr. Harradine, are you with us? He's not in?
So it's just us.
Yeah.
Do you want me to explain what happened for the minutes?
Is he here?
No.
Oh,
The applicant's not here.
okay. Can we continue with it or no?
You can,
Or is it
yeah,
just-
you can table, I mean, you can table it.
Right, I just explained why we're tabling
Yeah.
it. I is a type 2 action seeker and it's not, it's a short form. And so we got to this point. I did call and talk to Doug and explain to him what happened and whatnot. I told him that Shelley had sent the information needed. I didn't know where it went at the time. Now we know it went to Rochester Brooks to fill out a short form. But the public hearing's still open. It'd be tabled and we'll continue with it next month and I'll stay in touch with Mr. Harradine. Okay. With that, the only new application we have is Mr. Edison.
You may want to actually, Chairman, could you make a motion to table application 2021-08? Until the meeting of the planning board,
Okay,
or zoning board. excuse me.
all right. I make a motion to table Rochester Brooks 2021-08Z until September's meeting.
Second.
Member Anderson,
Aye.
member Geisel,
Aye.
deputy chair Herman.
Aye.
Chair Hedrick.
Aye. The only other applicant we have then is Edelstein. And evidently when he measured or whatever, I think they measured from the center line of the road back. He needs what does he need here? Does he need 20 feet?
That's what it says in the back of the application. 20 feet into the 110 feet space.
I guess my question is, John,
Yeah.
where do they really measure this from?
Do I have that?
Say that again.
I do
Old
not.
application.
Here,
I
I've
don't
got,
have that.
I've got one here. I don't have my, my engineered tape here, but I measured from here, which would be the property corner, because this would be right away. And if it's 66 feet, it'd be 33. Okay, so, but I measured from here back and added 33 with my engineer tape. And I got where my rule, and I got like 110, 111 feet. So does it have to be measured this way,
Yes,
or can it be this way, parallel with the line?
I believe you measure perpendicular from this corner down to the center line of the road.
Okay, yeah, because this isn't really a 90-degree.
No, you have to create a 90-degree angle with
Right.
the road
Okay,
in order to
That's
get
on
the
this one.
measurement.
all right.
They created a 90-degree here.
Yes.
Okay, so it's 90 degrees from the center line of the road.
Who measured that? The applicant?
Yeah, I think so. But see now, this is one of the things that I always had to deal with in the business. See where the center line of the road is? It's not in the center of.
Right.
Okay. That's why I always measured from here.
What's the date on the survey? That's brand new. Looks pretty new.
The stamp here, when I had it, 19, April 10th.
The
Note
easiest,
survey completed April 10th of 2019.
the easiest thing would be for
Kevin O'Donohue to rerun it in his CAD system or in his survey system and just run that setback down to the line, because he's already surveyed it, so he should have the dimensions in his system already.
Right,
That would give you that would give you the most accurate measurement. Otherwise, you probably would want to take out a ruler and use the scale.
well, that's what I did,
Yeah,
but that's what I did, I went from here. Because you can't really go from the center line, because the book says the center of the center line. But if it's 66 feet, it's 33 feet from that corner
Yeah,
out.
you're gonna want the surveyor to represent to you where they have
Where-
measured the center line rather than us.
Right,
Because otherwise you may
No.
grant a variance more than is
Fitting.
needed, or
Less.
correspondingly, you may actually short it.
yeah, because see here, he measured 42 feet. But he did it from the right of way, so you add 33 and it's 75. So the house is actually only 75 feet from the center of the easement.
So
Okay,
is the house non-conforming also?
right, yeah. Yeah, it's probably, that house was probably built. I think that was a tenant house, if I remember correctly, the main farmhouse.
The surveyor should be able to do that for a minimal charge, if
Yeah.
anything, to run that extra.
Right.
Or at least, may not even need to revise the map and just tell us
Right,
that he's run it and that's the dimension.
okay.
Well, was this from the surveyor? I mean, it's signed by the surveyor. but-
Yeah, it's got a stamp on it.
So I have to
Mine does.
assume
Someone
it
else
came from
drew that line, right?
Well, maybe he's
You just handed those in on the time.
I think the applicant probably drew it on there.
Oh, mine doesn't have a line.
It's the proposed one.
Oh, yeah.
That's where they got their 90 feet, but I'm saying, did the surveyor do that?
No, we
Or was it
approved
the
this
applicant?
variance at the last.
No,
This
the
other
applicant
one.
did, and
but
that's
he
not
needed
even right.
two, So he came back for the second one.
Yeah, and that's
Oh, we
not
approved
even
the
right.
side one, but not,
Yeah.
but he needed a front.
Yeah, because see where he's got his arrow touching?
So we're going back to this again.
Yep. And he's got to repay the application fee and everything else.
And he was very accommodating. for
Yeah, I
all of
mean,
it.
Since we already
It's
closed
not
it, we could have probably, if we knew ahead of time, we could have had
Right.
it amended. Yeah, but it's already done.
Yeah, because I think John looked at it or whatever, and everybody just kind of assumed. But that's why I wasn't quite 100% sure when I measured it with my engineer rule. And I said, make sure it's back 110. Any other questions, anything?
There's a new shed there.
No, I don't believe so. I went by, was it last night or the night before? And I didn't see a new shed or
I
anything.
just wondered, they had the variance, go ahead, bring it in.
Right, no, I don't think so. I mean,
Okay.
he's a good guy.
Yeah. very nice.
I mean, I've seen others that we had, I drove here and went by stuff.
Actually, he said something about, this is a shed, right? That
Yeah,
he's built, yeah, there was, a holdup with some of his, I was gonna say products.
right.
Yes, materials.
Materials.
So it worked out fine anyways.
Yep. Not only that, but things are super expensive. So with that, I make a motion to close the meeting at
Second that motion.
7:30.
Second,
Member Anderson,
yes.
member Geisel,
Aye.
deputy chair Herman.
Aye.
Chair Hedrick.
Aye. You look disappointed.